Hi folks, and welcome back to Handlebars and Holidays. Thanks for joining me once again. So you've seen what we've got the pleasure of playing with today. Let's pull in just up here and we'll have a quick look around the bike first, shall we? So here we are with the Suzuki GSX S1000, and what a nice looking beast this is. I think the side profile on this bike, it's really quite radical. It's a lovely looking machine. I think from the back she looks great, screaming out for a tail tidy. As a lot of them do these days, but nice big beefy back tyre. I like the can, the exhaust sounds good. It's a nice neat little can down there, I don't see any reason to mess with that. The tank's a lovely nice big beefy tank. I think this colour, by the way, is called glass sparkle black. It is, in this light it probably just looks black, but it has got a bit of sparkle to it. And it's just quite radical, you know. I quite like the styling. I think if anything's going to come in for any criticism, it might be that front end there. That front light cluster is a little bit interesting, but we can talk a bit more about that later. So for now, let's jump back on her and get a few more Ks under our belt, eh? Okay, so the Suzuki 2022 GSX S1000, and here we are. Thanks again to Savage Motorcycles in Midvale. If you live in Western Australia and you haven't been in there, you're missing something, because it's a really nice shop. Great guys, loads of stock, loads of used bikes. It's just a really really nice place. Give it a whirl. So if you're interested in the GSX S1000 or any of the Suzuki, KTM or even Can-Am range, pop in and see the guys there. They are exceptionally nice people and very, very helpful. So back to the bike. So yes, I think when you first throw your leg over any machine, the first thing that I always think is comfort. What's the position like? What's the ergonomics of the bike like? And in this case, I mean, you just seen on the little walk round there that it's quite a radical looking bike, this, but surprisingly it's actually a nice position. My initial thought was, oh, the pegs are a little bit high, but they're not. I don't think. It all just fits quite nicely. People talk about the peg to bum to hand triangle, don't they? And I don't know what that's supposed to be, but it must be pretty near right with this, because for I'm, what am I, 5'10", 32-inch inseam, and sadly about 100 kilos. I could lie and say 80, but it would be a lie. But yeah, this just sort of fits me quite nice. I'm slightly prone, I'm slightly leant forward, but my back's straight. I've got basically no weight on my wrists at all, and this feels really nice. The other thing that kind of hits you pretty much straight away is how smooth this engine is. It's just really smooth, just coming through the little estate there in the lower gears, doing lower speeds. It's so happy. I'll try and show you in a bit when we get off this road, but yeah, this inline 4 is super smooth. So the S1000 is obviously sort of aimed at a particular market, I suppose. It comes in at a very competitive price. Again, we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But it really feels like a nice premium bike. I'm a bit surprised in a sense. The switch gear's all nice. There's no sort of flimsy little switches that are in the wrong place, or everything feels quite nice. It's all nice and chunky. It's got an LCD dash as opposed to a TFT, which is probably considered maybe a touch dated, but having said that, what's wrong with that? I hope the camera can pick that up, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's nice and clear, and yeah, there's absolutely no issues. Tons of information. People have said silly things like, you know, there's too much there. You just look at the bits that you're interested in. I do think people sometimes look at things from a strange perspective. How can you possibly have too much information? But yeah, I think that's no problem with the dash. Mirrors are good. Everything feels nice and so smooth. The other thing that really jumps out at me, and I think I can categorically say that this bike has the smoothest quick shifter on it that I have ever ridden. I've ridden a few bikes now with quick shifters, and this is by far actually the smoothest quick shifter. It's really nice. So just by way of a bizarre little test, I'm in third gear doing 20 odd k's an hour, and just to try and demonstrate the fueling from 27 k's an hour in third, if I just wind her up, just absolutely super smooth, absolutely silky smooth. In fact, I bet you could do that in fourth. Let's just have a see. Okay, so I'm doing 23 k's an hour in fourth, just wind it up. That's unbelievable. That's so smooth, absolutely silky smooth. And that quick shifter, yeah, those have to be two of the standout features of this bike. The quick shifter and the smoothness of this engine is just beautiful. You could cruise through the lanes at a nice comfortable speed, for hours. This is nice. As regulars to my channel will know, I have an MT-09 SP, which is my sort of muckabout bike, you know, and to be honest, this is so much smoother. I can't really comment on the comfort as yet, but if anything, I'd say it's likely to be more comfortable as well. Let's just see what sort of noise she makes. Well, there's absolutely no doubting that this bike's got some go. You know, I'm sure if you got this on a private track or, you know, a runway somewhere, you could unbelievable. Yeah, I'll say no more. Yeah, there's one heck of a nice engine tone. Once you get the revs up a bit, that exhaust comes alive. What's also quite interesting with this bike, I mean, maximum revs I think are something like, maximum tap power is at something like 11,500 revs I think, so you would expect it to be a really revvy machine, but there's actually, I think in comparison to the previous model, they've moved the power delivery and torque down the rev range. Haven't ridden the previous model, so can't really compare, but it's certainly nice and punchy lower down, so yeah, it actually makes for a nice easy ride. Okay, so we'll just pull in and do a quick walk around and talk about a few of the basic specs. Okay, so let's just do a quick blast through some of the basic specs. So 17,300 ride away. I think that's the most important aspect of this bike because it's superb value for money. 3 colours, which are effectively blue, black and grey. 999cc, making 152 horsepower at 11,000 RPM and 160 Newton meters of torque at 9,250 RPM. It's got all the bells and whistles in terms of ABS and traction control, 5-mode traction control actually. It's not lean sensitive, but personally that doesn't bother me in the slightest. Full ride-by-wire, up and down quick shifter and Suzuki Easy Start system, which essentially means you don't have to pull the clutch in. Full LED lighting, 43mm inverted forks, monoshock on the back, all adjustable. Dunlop Sport Max tyres. What else was there to talk about? Weight, 214 kilos, if my memory serves me rightly, and a seat height is 810 mil. So it's just a nice, comfortable, easy-handled seat height, and 19-litre fuel capacity, which by my reckoning should give about 360 kilometres range, which is fine. That's pretty good. I think this is a brilliant bike in terms of value for money, and it certainly seems to tick all the sort of general boxes. So let's crack on, shall we? Back on the road. It's quite surprising, isn't it, how some bikes, they do just surprise you. You look at a machine and expect you're going to know what it's going to be like. And I just can't believe how smooth this is, combined with that shifter. Just makes it such an enjoyable ride. I've left the bike in A mode, by the way, which I think stands for active. I would have probably said aggressive, but having said that, it's also so nice and smooth. It's one of the few bikes I would be tempted to just leave there. The new GT version of this bike has just come out, which is essentially the same position, the same engine. As far as I'm aware, it's all pretty much the same, apart from the fact that you've got a fairing and cruise control, and panniers. Comes with colour matching panniers and such like. And if I'm right, I'll check this and put it up on screen, but I think it's only about $3,000 more, which is a lot more bike. You know, on top of a real good value for money machine, that's a lot more bike for not a lot more money again. So Suzuki have certainly got their eye on the price point. They're doing it well. This is a bike you could have an awful lot of fun on. It really is. It packs a lovely punch and does it in such a refined way somehow. I think it's a bike that's almost a little bit Jekyll and Hyde, and I think it would kind of appeal to two completely different type of people. And me, for instance, I'm a bit of a lazy rider. I like a little bit of a squirt every now and then, but I'm really all about comfort and ergonomics, I suppose. But it would also very much appeal to the scratcher, you know, the guy that wants to go and get his knee and elbow down in the lanes. I feel pretty sure it's a bike that will be loved by the aftermarket, and people will be tricking them up for years to come. Very easy bike to ride. Okay, so I'm sorry about the jump in the video there. One of the GoPros decided to throw a little bit of a wobbler, so I'm actually back at the shop now, just returning the bike. So what can I say in summary about the GSX S1000? Nothing bad, to be perfectly honest. It's a really, really nice bike. Considering I've got kind of the Yamaha equivalent, it felt very, very comfortable, very familiar, should I say, really, to me. But there's a lot of things that it actually does better than the Yam. So yeah, if you're interested in the GSX, sorry about the noise, if you're interested in the GSX S1000, pop along and see the guys at Savage Suzuki. They will look after you. Or obviously equally the rest of the Suzuki range, KTM or Can-Am. They're really nice guys there. But stick with the channel. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. I'll be back very shortly with something a little bit different next time. So, as always, take care and ride safe.